total quality. What is total quality? Total quality is a methodology whereby we work with our external client and we agree on the standards. We meet those standards both with customers and internal suppliers. We work in the same manner that we work with our clients. We work with our suppliers, that is upstream, to specify our standards, and we help them to fulfill them. And we work all the time making those standards more and more stricter. This is one of the moments where we must remember that we use the term upstream and downstream. Downstream is our client. Upstream is our supplier. Now, remember what the moment of truths are. There are several processes that have to do with the client, and sometimes our client is not satisfied with us or with our results. Now, when the client communicates with us regarding his misgivings and how do we respond, that's the moment of truth. It's not that we say, yes, we always do this, yes, the client is our most important. No, cut the bull. How do you respond when your client makes a complaint? That's when you show your true colors. That's the moment of truth. Now, in order to be able to process properly your customers' complaints, you need a whole lot of processes to do. That's support processes, delivery process, business operations. You need information and knowledge management, finance and accounting, facilities management, research and development. There are so many things. You must be able to understand what is going on in your relationship with your client. And how do you do that? By mapping, by having your documentation. So I will not get tired of repeating once and again, you need your documentation. Let's check out now what is and what do we mean by goal-oriented and compliant quality. Goal-oriented usually is when we have our product within one standard deviation of the specifications, whereby compliant is when we have it within 3 standard deviations. Some products can have a wider berth in order to be able to comply with our client needs. Others not. For example, when we're working with integrated circuits, the specifications are measured in nanometers. That is to say 10 to the minus 9, if I recall correctly, meters. That's unbelievably small. It's very close to the atomic level. But for example, the shirt that I have right now on, do I need a specification that's going to be measured in 10 to the minus 9 meters? No. Come on. This shirt can have some variations and it will fit me perfectly no matter what. If it is, let's say, half a centimeter more or half a centimeter less, in one way or the other it will work, as long as the neck or as long as the length of the sleeve is more or less around what we need. Some millimeters, some 2 or 3 millimeters more or less don't matter at all. So some products are goal oriented, some other are conformity oriented. Medicines, for example, certain medicines have to be very goal oriented because very small variations can have a huge effect. Pareto, remember that it sounds to you. Whereas other medicines, let's say for example vitamin supplements, it doesn't matter too much. Okay? And there are a lot of other products where we can talk about this all day long, about the same thing. Just remember, goal-oriented is within one standard deviation. Conformity-oriented is between 3 standard deviations. So now let's talk a little bit about the quality loss function, something that you will confront or face when you're working, most certainly. Let's just make first our graph, and if we take within 1 standard deviation, that's our best quality. Then we have good enough quality, where we have it within 1.5 standard deviations. Then we have our medium quality, 2 standard deviations. Then we have our bad quality, but it still works. That's between 3 standard deviations. Now remember, this is about best, good, medium, bad. It's always relative. If you go, for example, in Guadalajara, Mexico, to a place called Tonalá, they make some very, very good stoneware, plates, cups, whatever, for your table and your kitchen. Wonderful stuff. One of the best places there was this factory that was called Kent Edwards. And you could get the best quality, flawless, absolutely perfect. Remember, these are plates that are hand painted. They use different kinds of coatings, and as such, being hand painted, they are not exactly things that can go out perfectly every single time. Okay, there can be some variations. This is artisanal products. These are artisanal products. So, some of the products came out flawless, perfect, wonderful. Those were considered the best. Usually, they cost the most. Those were the most expensive. Then you could get some that were good, really, really good, with just some very, very minor defects. It was very hard to find them, but they were present. Then you had some plates that were, with some defects that were easier to see, but they were really, really nice. And then you had the last quality, let's say, which were good plates, but where the defects were present. You could see them. These one were the cheapest. Cheapest. Writing with the mouse is not what I do best. And these were the most expensive. I'm just going to put this as expensive. Okay. There. That's one way of looking at all this, but it's not the only way. Of course, beyond that, it was absolutely unacceptable. So now let me just erase all this so that we can so we can continue to go on. There's another way of looking at it. I'm using the colors that we usually correlate with a semaphore, with the traffic lights. In green we have within 1 standard deviation, in yellow within 2, and in red within 3. Okay. We, in the industrial terms, we tend to work within 1 standard deviation. Our lesson will continue in the next video.